down to the 5, and he's in. Touchdown, Tom Brady. Here he is, bearing down on Brady, calls the football.
I had felt betrayed.
It is good.
We're going to win this game. We have to win this game.
This is one that they'll remember for a long, long time.
It's like digging up an old scab, man.
This brings a tear to my eye.
The New England Patriots, the Oakland Raiders, two franchises forever linked by two playoff games. A quarter of a century separates the contests, yet the raw emotion lingers. Time has not healed these wounds.
Raiders get every break that they could back then in the 70s.
In 1976, following a magical Patriot season that produced an 11-3 record and featured a 48-17 win over the Raiders, the two teams met again in the AFC playoffs. The setting was Oakland. The call was roughing the passer against Patriots defensive lineman Sugar Bear Hamilton. It led to the Raiders' game-winning touchdown with 10 seconds remaining.
They said the infraction was roughing the passer, which was bull. It was just a phantom, bogus call.
Everybody says things when you beat them. Anytime you win, there's always going to be an excuse. And we were a good team to blame for, different excuses, whether it was penalties or our style of play or Sugar Bear Hamilton call. We've heard all of them.
25 years later, in the AFC Divisional playoff, a new phrase became part of the football lexicon: the tuck rule.
After reviewing the play, quarterback's arm was going forward. It is an incomplete pass.
The tuck rule came into play, and I think a lot of the Raiders call it a different name now.
Foxborough in January 2002 may have been a beginning for the Patriots, yet both teams' journey to that destination had its roots a few years earlier. For the Raiders, it began in 1998, when 34-year-old John Gruden was named head coach. 1 year later, Gruden signed journeyman quarterback Rich Gannon. In his previous 11 NFL seasons, with 3 different teams, Gannon had started only 58 games. After years of uncertainty, including a season out of football, Gannon had finally found his kindred spirit and football soulmate.
I knew right away when we sat down, we visited, this is a guy that I could certainly relate to, a guy that had a lot of energy, passion for the game. I never forget the first time we sat in his office. He said, "You and I will turn this thing around." And that was our pact, if you will, and we did.
In 1999, Gannon started all 16 games for the first time in his career, throwing for almost 4,000 yards. The pact between coach and quarterback accelerated in 2000. Gannon threw 28 touchdowns and was named first-team All-NFL. The Raiders went 12-4 and won the AFC West.
It was a great marriage between the two. And I haven't seen a marriage like that since Bill Walsh and Joe Montana.
While the new century saw Oakland return as one of the NFL's elite, the Patriots reached back to a former assistant to move forward.
It's my honor and pleasure to introduce Bill Belichick.
What you want to try to do is decide how you want to play the game, what you want your players to do, and then get players that can fit into those roles.
What's going to happen if the offense jumps offside?
Safety. It's not collecting talent, it's building a team. Some players fit better into one structure or one system than they do in another.
A year later, in an unprecedented season splintered by the events of September 11th, Belichick's unconventional approach to team building came into sharp focus. Drew Bledsoe, the accepted face of the franchise, had been injured early in the season. Former 6th-round draft choice Tom Brady had played solidly, yet without distinction in his absence. When Bledsoe was declared healthy, the Patriots were 5-5.
No disrespect to Tom, but without Drew getting hurt, he would have never seen the field. At that point, Drew Bledsoe was our franchise. They just signed him to a new 10-year deal. He was the man at the time.
You would just assume that a guy with so much stature like Drew Bledsoe, if he came back, if he was ready to come back, that he would get his starting job back. Coach Belichick just said, hey, Tom is our quarterback for the rest of the season. That's final.
That's what Mr. Kraft's paying me to do, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make the decisions that I think are the best for the football team. T-E-A-M as in team.
The quarterback situation masked the emergence of Belichick's trademark defense. Smart, versatile, multi-dimensional.
We started out the year playing a 34, and when we went to a 4-3 and made Brewski the middle linebacker, that really kind of solidified the whole unit. And Teddy was very productive, made a lot of big plays for us there.
We had so many new faces that we were just trying to work our way into different defenses, playing a 4-3, playing a 3-4. A lot of different guys contributing. I may have started, 10 or 11 games, but played a lot more, played a lot less.
Guys were inserted because they were specifically good at doing this job. So this week, you have to be good at what you're good at. This is your role this week. This is what we need you to do, and this is all. Don't try to do anything more. This is what you're on the field for this week.
The near side picked off Tylon.
The 2001 Patriots won 8 of their final 9 games. They were AFC East champions, having earned both home field advantage and a first-round bye. The Raiders won 10 of their first 13 in 2001, fueled by a high-powered offense that had added Jerry Rice and running back Charlie Garner.
The biggest X factor to me was Charlie Garner. He was like a one-man game changer kind of guy. Coming from St. Louis, it was Marshall Faulk. He was that guy, that you felt like you could run your whole offense around. And on our team, Charlie Garner was a Marshall Faulk type of impact guy.
Even with Garner's explosiveness and the productive professionalism of Rice, the Raiders lost their final 3 games. Despite winning the AFC West for the second consecutive year, the late season shutdown forced Oakland to play in the wild card game.
Night for Rice. Here's a play to Garner, and he's got the first down. He's going to go all the way for a touchdown. Touchdown, Charlie Garner. What a play. 80 yards to win the game. The Raiders are going to New England.
In so many ways, the Raiders did not get what they expected at Foxborough Stadium. Had the Raiders-Patriots game kicked off at 1 p.m., it would have been played on a dry field. But by nightfall, conditions had radically changed for the NFL's first-ever primetime playoff matchup.
We were like, why are we on a later game? And there was a West Coast game that was on earlier. We were like, this should be reversed. The East Coast game should be on earlier. The West Coast game should be on later. That's just simple logic. Why in the middle of winter in Massachusetts do we have to play at 8 o'clock?
From the winter wonderland that is Foxborough Stadium, the AFC Eastern Division champion Patriots take on the Western Division champion Oakland Raiders in the AFC semifinal. You love football to be played in the cold weather and the elements. This is your night.
That gave it a crystallizing effect, a very New England-y touch, with the snow falling, and it was snowing hard, and there was a lot of it.
The snow has been falling since about 5 o'clock local time. It's been snowing for 3 solid hours, and it's not going to let up.
Well, me, being the stubborn California, knucklehead, I go out there in shorts and a t-shirt, to prove to everybody this weather's not going to bother me at all.
It wasn't overly cold. It was probably mid-20s, but just thick flakes. Just that they were like ice cubes coming down. It was just every half hour just put more and more on the field, and then just the accumulation.
I recall looking up into the sky and just seeing these snowflakes come down. They looked like the size of a quarter. It was just hard to focus in on the ball with the movement of those big flakes and stuff. It was hard to catch the ball, and My thought is how the receiver's going to be able to focus in on a ball with so much eye distractions.
I mean, they came out, they had white uniforms, and you really couldn't see them. All you saw was their helmet and their pants. You know, so everything in the middle seemed like it was translucent, you know, because they blended in with the snow.
Because you just couldn't see where anything was. It was like playing on a gigantic ice rink, an unlined ice rink, like a giant piece of paper that had no specific delineations for anything.
They anticipate the snow falling all the way through the game until about 11 o'clock, and they love it here in Foxborough. They think that that is the recipe for advancement to the AFC Championship game. They think that the Oakland Raiders are going to come all the way out here from the West Coast, and just like Frosty, they're going to melt here.
We're going to get this one. I promise. I promise that.
They wish for it to be cold. It's one thing they didn't wish for. They didn't wish for the Raiders.
I know I was excited to actually be able to play in an NFL playoff game and in conditions like that, which it was, you felt like you were a part of history.
Even if the Patriots win this game tonight, I should say, this could be the last game ever played in this stadium. And the Raiders, John Gruden told his guys last night, they're going to shut this place down anyway. You guys might as well close it tonight.
We're irritated we even had to be there. So it's one of those things like, we're away from home. We shouldn't even have been away from home. We're playing this team that no one really knows about. Let's knock the snot out of them and get back to California.
The Oakland Raiders began the game sporting an attitude as harsh and unforgiving as the Foxborough weather.
They are ready to go in Foxborough. The winner advances on to the AFC Championship game next week. With snowflakes falling, we are underway from New England. Terry Kirby will creep up, take it on the 6 far right. 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, and he pushes out to around the 32-yard line. I say around the 32-yard line. We're going with approximates tonight. The Raiders go 1st and 10. The ball right in the middle of this completely white field. They have done a little blowing of the yard markers at 5-yard intervals. The Raider offensive line, left tackle Barry Sims, the left guard Steve Wisniewski, the center Adam True, the right guard Frank Middleton, the right tackle is Lincoln Kennedy. The Raiders shift John Ritchie in the backfield and offset out to the right along with Garner. Tim Brown comes in long motion towards Otis Smith. They pitch to Garner, gets the outside corner, 35-40, first down, and he's shoved out of bounds at the Raider 43-yard line.
John Ritchie got a nice block on the linebacker. They started out with a 4-3 defense.
Charlie Garner on the pitch play goes for 11 yards to open this divisional playoff game.
I remember thinking, man, I'm having an awesome game here. I'm putting people on their backs. You know, they're going down so easy. I feel so strong. You know, but it's really probably just because they were sliding around. There was no footing.
They give it to Wheatley up the gut, and Wheatley falls to around the 45-yard line for a pickup of a couple.
The Patriots defense, let's give it to you. Bobby Hamilton at left end, Brandon Mitchell, Richard Seymour at the defensive tackles, Anthony Pleasant, the other defensive end. The linebackers, Mike Vrabel, Teddy Bruschi, and Roman Pfeiffer. Cornerbacks Ty Law and Otis Smith, and Lawyer Malloy and Tabucky Jones are your safeties.
Charlie Garner is in. Tim Brown goes in motion. They give it to Garner up the middle. Garner breaks a tackle and falls forward to about midfield. It'll be 3rd down at about 3. Tim Brown, Jerry Rice line in a bunch formation. Rice comes towards the bunch. Going to be a pass. In and back, plenty of time. Going to throw out right. Catch made by Brown. Not much on the gain. He's well short. Did not get a very good spot. So Leckler will punt. Snow flurries coming down hard. A fluttering ball to Leckler, gets it away. And he bangs it towards the end zone over Brown's head. This one will land 5 yards deep in the end zone. It will be a touchback.
From their own 20, Brady back to throw on 1st down. Pump fakes left, comes back to the right, completes the pass to Edwards. Across the 20-25, puts his head down and pounds it out close to the 28-29-yard line.
New England will run a lot of screens and a lot of fake screens as they open the game with one, a fake towards the left time, came back to the fullback Edwards,
in the right flat for a 9-yard pickup.
You're right. That won't be the only screen we see tonight. We'll see that kind of screen. We'll see a quick screen out to wide receiver, a quick screen just to the back, firing out to the backfield rapidly.
Feels like a screen door's in play, too. Boy, is it cold here. Temperature in the mid-20s.
Back to throw is Brady. Flips it to the left. It is complete to J.R. Redmond. First down, 30, 35, 40. Left across midfield to the 47-yard line.
I remember having no problem grip the ball that night. I remember it was almost like it was a little moisture in the air, so the ball was pretty sticky, and it felt great in my hands.
Just a simple screen to the left side. They caught the Raiders a little off balance. They were shifting around, and they were not prepared for that.
Well, screens are effective, certainly against an over-pursuing defense, and against this field, they can be very effective.
They started the game with 3 screens, which is brilliant. I mean, get the guys rushing up the field and just slip the back out. Easy, high completion throws. They ran a lot of screens that night with a lot of success.
Second down and 2 for the Patriots at the Oakland 44. Hand off to Antoine. He's got a first down. Snow coming down.
Boy,
it's
I'll tell
a
you,
winter wonderland.
It's really coming down heavily.
Yes, it is.
And big flakes.
Yeah, Gruden's wearing a visor rather than a hat to keep the snow off his head. So the snow is falling all over his blonde locks. Doesn't he look like he was born to coach in California, Gino, with that blonde hair, doesn't he?
Surfer boy.
Yeah.
27.
But it was no day at the beach for New England's running backs, who were literally stopped cold by the Raider defense.
They had a really good defensive front, and they weren't making things any easier. And, whenever you're limited to running just straight downhill, they know it too. The running game, you can still get a hat on a hat, but they're not going to try to defend anything outside the tackle box because they know you're going to be running up the middle. You had to run north and south, so all the outside zone plays, those are pretty much toast.
They're going to go for it on 4th down. The ball is marked at the Oakland 32, so they need 3 yards. Brady is at quarterback. J.R. Redmond is the running back. Back to throw is Brady. The pass to the right is incomplete. Intended for David Patton, and the Patriots do not come up with the first down, and they turn it over to the Oakland Raiders.
And Brady saw Tom, tried to throw a quick one to Patton, but he missed him, and he slipped trying to go back on this inclement turf.
That time, Patton tried to make too quick a move, but he slipped.
That's a good job, man. That's the way to work. Good, smart. Okay, with the empty situation, make sure you know the calls. All right, make sure you make the adjustments. All right, listen up. Okay, that's a good job. Okay, learn. Know the empty sets, okay? You're coming out. Look at the backfield every single time. All right, line up and empty. They'll shift back into it. All right, doesn't mean it's always going to be empty. All right, so use your eyes when you're out there at end.
With their own eyes, Oakland had observed New England's ground game spinning its wheels. In this weather, throwing the ball was the better bet. But a short passing gain quickly turned into a crippling loss.
Raiders 1st and 10, right at midfield, 3-step drop. Gannon going to throw out right, catch made by Jerry Porter. Law shoves him out of bounds.
You see Jerry Porter go down early in the game. He was probably one of our better players, and he could make something happen. So when he went down early in that game, it really hurt us. The guy came in, and he didn't give you the same performance that Jerry would have in the slot.
Looked like he dislocated possibly his right shoulder. Yeah, you see us pointing to get some medical attention. He was driven out of the Patriots sideline on that tackle, and Jerry's in a lot of pain.
Defensively, the Raiders were clearly the more talented team, at least early on. The Patriots had the ball 2 other times in the first quarter. They did not pick up a single first down during either possession. The Patriots' attack was in a deep freeze, but New England's problems weren't simply limited to its offense. A mental mistake by the special teams ended up costing them dearly.
Snap goes on the money to Walter, gets it high in the air. Woodson, fair catch signal, lets it bounce, goes by him and hit a Raider, and the ball is down inside the 30-yard line, about the 25 by the Raiders.
They're going to have an interference on New England anyways. They collided with Charles Woodson.
He had a fair catch signal. He was trying to catch the ball, and he was interfered with.
You go down, you're covering the punt. You're not sure where the ball is, and Woodson comes running up, and Cherry just ran right over him.
That's what we try to preach to younger players is you cannot take a play off or, even have a mental lapse because, one bad play bad judgment as far as how close you are to the returner. You get a fair catch interference. Next thing you know, they got points on the board.
Rod Cherry gets called for the penalty.
Boy, that's a big penalty.
Yes, it is. It comes all the way to midfield. So the Oakland Raiders have great field position to start this drive.
And that is the end of the first quarter. To say the least, a very strange quarter. The Raiders were the better team throughout the quarter, but the elements are going to be a major story in this game tonight. And ultimately, one or two plays may decide this football game.
As the snow continued to fall, New England's grounds crew was called upon for some unconventional housekeeping.
We've got 5 people with leaf blowers blowing the snow away from the yard markers. So far, it's been a game of exchanging punts.
We weren't doing a good job early running the ball. And sometimes when the field conditions get to be such where it's kind of a mucky field, some of the best things you can do are throw the football. High completion percentage throws, and that's what we did.
As we start the second quarter, Raiders moving from west to east. 1st and 10, Raiders right on the 50. Tim Brown goes in motion towards the right. 3-step drop, look left, pump fake, come back right, and a throw and a catch made there by Garner. Garner powers into New England territory deep for the first down to the Patriot 37-yard line.
The offensive line just gave Gannon plenty of time to be able to do all the things. Look at number 1, number 2, number 3 wasn't there. He came back to Gardner.
Brown in motion, followed by Law. Gannon back, looks left, throws. Wide open is Brigham. Got it, breaks a couple of hits, comes forward near to a first down.
Yeah, I don't like what I see so far with the time that Gannon has to, just look players off and have time to throw the ball in the opposite direction.
And now they're going to shove Lawyer Malloy comes over. Gannon back and a look left, throws for Brown. Broken up by Ty Law.
Gannon tried to go over the middle and get it to Tim Brown, but Ty Law was there to knock it down.
Ty Law played that very well. He had good coverage on Brown. That ball had to be a perfectly thrown ball, and it was a little behind Timmy Brown, and that's why Ty Law was able to get a hand on it.
3rd down and 8. The Raiders are 0 for 3 converting on 3rd downs tonight. 3rd and 8 on the New England 25-yard line. 3-step drop, throw to Rice on a slant, first down, and Jerry Rice is inside the New England 20-yard line.
He was uncovered in the slot formation and just 2-3 steps upfield and then broke it in.
Tough to play press coverage in these elements. You slip, you're going to get burned. So they laid back a little bit on the 3rd and 8. And Rice, who got the loose coverage underneath, who was picking him up.
And it seems like the formations they're coming up with, they could spring somebody loose.
Let's go far west right. Zoom short. 358 lost.
No gain. 2nd down 10.
Up to now, Oakland's second quarter play selection had been superb. Gannon made sure the drive's last call would be executed with the same precision.
Garner the lone back. Brown is with Jett wide left, and Gannon throwing for the end zone, and it's caught by James Jett. Touchdown, Raiders! James Jett, who caught only 2 passes all year. Now, largely because of the shoulder injury to Jerry Porter, emerging here, makes a nice over-the-shoulder catch.
There had been a high tendency for the Patriots to press you in that situation, so we went with a 7 or 8 man protection. Really just had 3 men out in the route. James Jett had a lot of speed. That's one thing he could do. He could run. He flat out beats him to the corner.
We really missed the coverage on the touchdown pass on the post corner route. We had 2 guys there, and both guys played inside, and the receiver went outside. And so we gave up a relatively easy touchdown there.
I mean, James Jett wasn't even active for most of the season. So when Jerry Porter went down and hurt himself, we're like, oh, things are going great. James Jett, baby, out of the nowheres, touchdown, James Jett. I mean, that was big for us as a team. So we felt like all the right things were falling into place. And when the weather's that bad, 7 points is big.
Oh, the snow and the cold not bothering the Oakland Raiders on that drive.
We felt like that in New England we were more used to the cold weather and the adverse conditions than they were coming from California. But as the game unfolded, they were handling the conditions pretty good, and surprisingly so.
So far, the Patriot offense has struggled.
Well, if you had to give a side to who's playing the best football at this point, you got to give it to the Raiders.
Next empty, we're going to show a triple, go to coverage, all right? Show a triple, show pressure, go to coverage on empty.
First and 10, New England on a 25. Edwards goes in motion right. Brady to drop 5 steps. Pressured by Grady Jackson. Throws. Broken up beautifully by Johnny Harris. What a play by the Raiders' strong safety Harris to knock it away from the intended target, Antoine Smith, at the impeccable right moment.
Harris's coverage was perfect. His next play was even better.
Second and 10, New England. He's out of the shotgun. Brady going to pump. Look middle. Finally throws deep. Intercepted by Johnny Harris. Harris coming back the other way at the 45. Breaks a tackle. And he slides down.
Not today! Not today! Not today!
He was trying to hit Troy Brown down the middle, and Tom Brady overthrows Brown. And Johnny Harris comes away with the interception.
It was a very difficult game. We got off to a very slow start. I threw an interception. We really didn't play the way that I wish we would have played early in the game. They were very good in the secondary. Some great talent.
Hey, go bring it home, y'all! Go bring it home!
The pressure now shifted to New England's defense, which responded by limiting the Raiders to only 1 first down for the rest of the half.
Running the ball was hard. You couldn't get much movement at the line of scrimmage. We weren't getting a lot of pass rush anyway. You know, we're just kind of trying to hang on and, you know, just try to find some way to get them stopped at some point. And it's hard to rush against that type of offense, so we went to more of a coverage game.
There were a number of things that concerned us when we played it. A team like the Patriots was, you know, them jumping in and out of the 34 front to a 4-man front. They give you a myriad of blitzes and different looks, whether it's zone pressures, man pressures, all-out pressures, and that really impacted us in a big way in terms of the protection game.
Again, they're going to drop back, pump fake left, down pressure, and he is sacked by Brisky. Teddy Brisky, the middle linebacker.
Oakland's defense fiercely protected its 1-touchdown lead. In 4 second-quarter possessions, the Patriots only got into Raider territory once.
Goes to the left, steps, looks, fires it long and deep for Patton, and it is batted down. Outstanding defensive play by Oakland's Eric Allen, the veteran, 35 years old.
Actually could have easily intercepted it. Tom Brady, once again, people are in his face and they're forcing him out of the pocket, just disrupting the overall timing of the Patriots passing game.
Brady overthrows his receiver. The pressure gets there. That was my opportunity, and I remember, you know, sliding kind of in the snow and thinking, missed opportunity, you know, that's one more interception you can have in a playoff game that could really turn the tide.
They are booing here in New England. Tom Brady having a very poor playoff game. He is 6 of 13. They 1 interception. He's thrown for only 75 first-half yards.
We were very confident going in at the half. We felt as though we were a team that was going to go to the Super Bowl, without a doubt. I think any team in that position feels that way. We felt like the proof was on the field, you know, that we were overpowering them at the line of scrimmage, really doing what we wanted to do, playing well on both sides of the ball.
Our mindset at that time was, do your job. We felt at that time that we didn't play up to our best defensively. And at that stage, it was just like, okay, we got a half of football. Go out and make it your destiny.
And went into halftime, and I remember looking at David Patton and looking at another receiver and saying, if you guys play the best half of your life, I'm going to play the best half of my life.
After watching them play in the first half, the Raiders are the better football team. The elements, though, are clearly going to be a great factor in the game.
Could be. It would be a shame if the better team didn't win, but then sometimes that happens. You know, the elements are a factor, or just bad luck or good luck is a factor. And so far, the Raiders are clearly the better team on the football field.
And at halftime, the Raiders lead it by a score of 7-0.
The Patriots' offense began the second half with a sense of urgency. Their first objective, convert on 3rd down.
Right away, faced with a 3rd and short, and I think Patriots got to start converting these 3rd downs.
They haven't converted one yet. Third down and 2 for the Patriots at their own 41-yard line. Brady, play action, rolls to the right, dumps it to the right. Edwards has it first down. He's across midfield into Oakland territory to about the 46-yard line.
Well, they converted their first third down and couldn't come at a better time.
Edwards in motion to the right. Brady, handoff to no one. It's an end around to Troy Brown. And Troy Brown's going to be cut down for a loss back at the 45-yard line.
The Raiders were not fooled at all. Brady Jackson made a tremendous play.
So the play loses 9 yards. Brings up second down and 19 from their own 45. Brady, play action fake. The throw. Looks. Goes down the field to the left. It's complete. First down at the 30-yard line of the Oakland Raiders.
Brady had all the time in the world to throw, and that created a big cushion in between the backers and the DBs.
They did have great halftime adjustments. Maximum protection allowed the quarterback to be able to have time to throw the ball, with those two receivers being able to navigate through the defense and make plays.
The passing game is a lot easier for us up front when there's bad weather conditions. They don't have the footing, they don't have all the little tricks and the moves and the games and the stunts.
The passing game actually became more favorable because the defense had trouble rushing, and the receivers kind of knew where they were going, and the defenders were playing very cautiously. The score dictated that a little bit, but really the field conditions they played a huge part in that.
Third down and 8. Brady takes the shotgun snap. Stands in the pocket, stands in there, now delivers downfield, caught inside the 10-yard line. First and goal to go. David Patriots.
Oh, boy, the Patriots are getting what they needed from their offensive line now.
But the Patriots did not complete the long drive with a touchdown.
Third and goal at the Raider 5. Brown is in motion right to left. Brady, play action. The throw, looking, fires, overthrown, intended for Rod Rutledge at the back line of the end zone. He had the man open.
Yeah, he missed him.
So the field goal attempt by Adam Vinatieri will come from around the 13-yard line. It'll be a 23-yard attempt. Snap, ball down. The kick is up, and the kick is good. The Patriots get on the board with a score, 7-3 Oakland.
The rest of the third quarter belonged to the Raiders. Against a Patriots defense that blitzed often, Rich Gannon converted a critical third and long on each of Oakland's 2 possessions.
Raiders 1 for 7 in third down conversions.
Brown in short motion right, runs a crossing route. Gannon throws for Brown, got it. First down on Law, and Ty Law drives him out of bounds. Now before Timmy is in New England territory.
First third down, we were anticipating pressure, and I think we were in 24 protections. Our 7-man protection, solid protection.
Give credit to Randy Jordan picking up a nice blitz that came from the outside on that. Randy Jordan stepped up and gave Gannon time enough to find Timmy Brown.
It was a little bit of a guessing game with the protections because we went into that game really anticipating a lot of pressure, a lot of heat, and the Patriots did a really good job disguising their intentions. And that's typical Bill Belichick defense, very well coached, very good in their scheme. And so John really tried to take the guesswork out of it, call some 7- and 8-man protections, and hang our hat on that.
The Raiders' second drive of the third quarter featured another Patriots blitz and another Gannon conversion.
Third down and 10. The Raiders have now moved forward on the series. 3:12 to play. They're all getting up here in Foxborough. Jordan Ritchie in the block. Watch the slot man. Here comes a blitz by Stevens. The Raiders pick it up. Throw out left. Catch made by Rice. First down. Pulled down by Buckley on the New England 30-yard line.
I saw the safety creeping up, called them out. The center adjusted to protection, and we picked it up. It's just like we practiced and rehearsed all that week.
They blitzed Matt Stevens, the free safety. The Raiders walled it off.
We knew everything that they were going to do. We knew everything they were capable of doing.
When Sebastian Janikowski kicked his second field goal of the third quarter, the Raiders increased their advantage to 13-3.
What a night for the Polish cannon. He likes it, Wintry. Janikowski brings it right through. And the Raiders now have a 10-point lead.
So we're up 13-3. We're only feeling like what's happening is supposed to happen.
We looked up at the clock, and we felt that they hadn't shown any signs of life yet. It was just a matter of, if we get another score, we'll put the final nail in the coffin. This is our game. It's just, let's just go out there and finish the job.
Following New England's opening drive of the second half, which ended with Adam Vinatieri's field goal, the Patriots' offense generated little traction. It was a slippery slope they looked to climb, a pass-heavy approach in which they struggled to protect Tom Brady. Quarterback sacks derailed consecutive possessions.
Now that was a disaster.
The problem really for us was the Raiders. We had trouble, keeping drives going, consistently getting them blocked.
Patriots 1st and 10 at their own 33, trailing 13-3 with 12:29 to play in the game and perhaps the season for the Patriots. Redmond, the lone running back behind Brady, 1st and 10. Play action fake, turns to the right, looks to the right, fires, it is caught across the 40-yard line to about the 45, 46-yard line.
We got into the second half, late into the third quarter and early into the fourth quarter, and we just felt like our best chance was to go no huddle, to kind of up-tempo it a little bit and to try to spread them out and hope that we could convert some possession passes and try to hang on to the ball that way.
Fires, it is caught for a first down to Jermaine Wiggins across the 45-yard line to the Oakland 43.
And New England not huddling here. Now they are going to go into a huddle. Look, well, it's not going to be a real huddle. They're going to sugar huddle it here and go right to work.
We went to much more of a passing game because you couldn't run the ball. You couldn't move the defensive line. I think we ended up throwing 39 times in the second half. And it got to a point where we were in shotgun a lot because the snow was so thick on the ground. A lot of times the defensive line can't get a very good pass rush. So a lot of times that ball snapped back. And it's just they just kind of build a wall, and I'm able to sit there and find the open guy.
Stands in there, fires to the right, a leaping grab, first down at the Oakland 20-yard line.
Right now they have us on the heels. You don't know who's catching it. There's not one guy. And again, that played to their benefit. He's throwing the ball, boom, it's going everywhere. All those things that good quarterbacks do, he is hitting it, and he's not making very many mistakes. And now, when you have this many passes in a row, now those front four, those front five guys, they're getting tired.
On this critical fourth quarter drive, Brady completed 9 consecutive passes, the final one to tight end Jermaine Wiggins. It set up 2nd and goal from the Raiders' 6-yard line.
It'll be a 2nd and goal to go for the Patriots at the Oakland Raiders 6. Patriots going again without a huddle. The snap to Brady. Looks, stands, starts to run with it. He is down to the 5 and he's in. Touchdown! Tom Brady runs in for a touchdown with 7:52 to play in the football game. The Patriots are back in it.
They recognize the sense of urgency.
We called a play, I think we're on like the 5 or 6 yard line, which is about the limit for me. I don't think I'm running much farther in from that. I remember that it just opened up, and for me, a lot of the time, the instinct is to stay back there and try to throw the ball. Well, it opened so much that I said, you know what, I'm going to try to take this one.
It was a 7-yard run. Basically, he went back and the receivers were covered. The pass rush kind of got separated, and Tom was able to use his Red Grange breakaway open field running to slice through the line there. And I thought he dislocated his shoulder when he spiked the ball, but
I think he actually did a face plant, which was fitting. It was a way to cap off the drive. It only took him 18 seconds to get from the 8-yard line into the end zone. Pretty graceful, a lot of moves, a little shake and bake. Yeah, it was great.
That was sun-dried by Tom Brady. I didn't know if he had it in him, Tom. He went in the gun, and he just threw it all over the stadium.
David! That's some great comebacks! Keep it up, baby!
8 minutes remained in the fourth quarter. No one could have anticipated what was yet to come. Tom Brady's touchdown had reignited the competitive phase of this AFC Divisional playoff. When the Raiders got the ball with 2 minutes and 41 seconds remaining in the fourth quarter, all they needed was 1 first down to seal the victory.
New England has 3 timeouts. The Raiders got to ground it out here. Richie leans back, tells Garner to play. Here they come out of the aisle, off left tackle. Roman Pfeiffer makes Garner go back the other way, which he does for a good game. What a
Patriots stopped the clock, calling the first of their 3 timeouts.
First down, they pick up, I think it was 7 yards, and we were in our base defense, and so now it's 2nd and 3, and you know, I know if we don't stop them here, it's it, the game's over, so we put our goal line defense in.
Here comes Garner again behind Richie. Good lead block. And Garner gets in the air. Tabucky Jones rolls him back, and I think he's short. New England's going to call a timeout here. It is 3rd down coming up.
Bottom line is, get this first down, and the game is over. The play, 14 blasts. No need to be confused about it. Whenever there was a problem, anytime during our season, any problem, here's a play we're going to give you and serve it right down your throat, and that's it.
We got cocky evident at times, so we would tell people where it's coming. It's coming right here. Stop it.
It was our bread and butter play in short yardage and goal line. We were probably the best short yardage and goal line team in football over those 3 years when I was there with John Gruden. Zach Crockett would go up there and smash somebody and pick up a yard.
2:24 to play. 3rd down and short.
So the biggest 3rd down of this season coming for the Patriots.
High formation. Here comes Crockett behind Richie. Diving and hurdling. Oh, he didn't get much. They spilled him in the mid-flight. New England hurriedly calling a timeout with 2:19 to play.
That first down.
Boy, I'll tell you what, they better get the spot they deserve here.
And I don't think this is going to be even that close, Gino, to be honest with you.
Here's a good look. He is there. Short.
4th down. Oakland forced to punt.
We had known, watching the film with the Patriots, that they like to spike the middle linebacker up in that A-gap between the center and the right guard, and they like to time it. They like to try and hit it at the snap. We talked all week that that's what they were going to do, and make sure that we leave the Mike linebacker for John Ritchie, the fullback. So we get in the game, they spike the linebacker, the right guard sees it, reacts, tries to block the Mike linebacker, turns the 3 technique loose on John Ritchie in the hole. John Ritchie gets blown up, Zach Crockett has nowhere to go, and we miss the first down. It blows you away.
2:19 to play, and the Raiders got a punt of the way.
No dice with 14 blasts. Really irritates me to this day. Even it just irritates me.
That's the game. That to me was really the play of the game.
That was the biggest play in the game, because if we don't stop them at that point, there's no way we even get the ball back and have a chance.
But the Patriots almost let this opportunity slip through their fingers.
And Leckler gets it away. Oh, a lot of room for Brown to go. Here he comes. 20, 25, 30. Big hole, 35, 40. And they finally drop him. He fumbled the ball. Hold on. It's New England's ball, though. They got it back. They got it back. Was that Larry Izzo? I believe it was. Brown fumbled the ball. And the great special team star, Larry Izzo, recovered it.
The only reason I was in position to make that play or get on the ball when he fumbled is just because I know Troy and I know how hard he's fighting, and he's one of those returners that he's going to be fighting for every single yard he can get, and he had already returned about 30 yards. I'm chasing the guy I'm blocking, and I know, that's when you see guys start coming in and, hitting him out, from the back to try to knock the ball loose. I was thinking of that as I'm following him, and then sure enough, the ball comes out, and unfortunately, I was right there.
The 2 biggest plays in the game had occurred on consecutive snaps late in the 4th quarter. Yet they would be totally forgotten in the aftermath of one of the most controversial events in playoff history. "58 minutes in a driving New England snow have produced a spirited AFC Divisional playoff. One play, one call, and this game would endure forever."
I remember the play. It was called trips right 68 slant D slant, which means it was trips to the right. We had 3 slants on the right, and then we had a slant on the backside with a diagonal by the running back.
We had a zone blitz. Charles coming from the left side, and Reagan, defensive lineman on the right side, dropping.
Well, I dropped back, just waiting to throw the slant to the left, and sure enough, the defensive lineman stands up and drops out right underneath the slant.
Brady calling signals. The direct snap to Brady. standing in there. Looks to the left, loses the football. It's on the ground, and let's see if it's a fumble or a pass attempt. I believe it's going to be called a fumble. It is. And the Oakland Raiders recover.
We didn't have Woodson blocked, and really Tom should have read that and gotten rid of the ball. He was looking on the other side of the field, and Woodson stripped him.
All of New England, all of the nation saw Woodson coming. The Raiders are 143 away from going back to the AFC Championship game.
I couldn't believe that I'd fumbled the ball to lose the game.
When you see a guy like soak his head, like when he fumbled, we all know when a player knows he fumbled, like Tom did.
Brady pumps. He does bring it forward, but that's not to pass the ball. That's a fumble.
Did look as though his arm was moving forward. As we look at it, Brady's arm was coming forward.
Yeah, they're going to have to call it from upstairs.
The play is going to be reviewed, though, Greg.
Why?
You know, it's upstairs. Upstairs is going to review it whether it was a fumble or not, I guess.
The field call was it was a clean fumble.
Right.
I'm thinking to myself, how can you possibly take this away?
At no point in time did I think that that could possibly be overturned. No.
Once I saw the play replayed, then I saw the play in much more detail, and I thought really that Tom was tucking the ball, and I thought that this is going to be an incomplete pass. Interestingly, it was a very similar play to what happened earlier in the season when we played the Jets, when Anthony Pleasant hit Vinny Testaverde, and it was the same thing. We hit him, the ball came out, we recovered, and we felt like it was our ball. But Vinny was bringing the ball back into his body. It was a very similar play to the Oakland play. So when I saw the replay on it, I knew what the ruling should have been because we had dealt with that play a little bit earlier in the year on the other side of it.
This will decide the football game. Will Coleman.
The quarterback's arm was going forward. It is
all right. Patriots retain the ball.
Now, if the refs on the field make the call, I'm cool. But you take the essence of football off the snowy 4 quarters of guys preparing and playing, those refs being the same element. You take it off that and you put it into an air-conditioned, cool room. And you make decision there instead of on that football field where all decisions should be made.
It was like a vacuum. It just sucked the life out of all of us. My head, my shoulders, my whole posture went from, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? I can't believe this.
Does the intent of the quarterback have anything to do in this, or is it just simply that his arm is coming forward? Because his arm may be coming forward, but he's clearly stopping the motion, and he's no longer looking to throw the ball.
As the rule states, if you now decide to bring the ball back, and in that motion, you're starting to tuck it back to your body and bring it back, if you are hit or the ball comes out and the ball pops out, it is still a pass based on that initial forward motion.
Probably by the rule book, it probably is the right rule, the right call. But if you knew what the intention was, then it's absolutely not the right call. Tom was late to see the blitz, and by the time he realized that it was a blitz zone, that his hot receiver was covered, he tried to pull the ball back down. And by the time he pulled the ball back down, he had gotten hit and it came out.
I can understand why people would say it, because the intent at that point is not to throw the ball. I mean, he's gone beyond that intent to throw the ball.
The ironic thing is I got a chance to talk to Tom at the Pro Bowl a couple weeks later, and, he said the same thing. He kind of smiled and, and laughed about it, and he knew it was a break of a lifetime.
It should simply be once the ball comes past the point of no return, once the point of the ball is pointing toward the ground, if it falls out, boom, fumble. It's a bad rule. It is an awful rule, and it was the game. Because if absent that game's over. They lose.
From that point on, we just weren't the same team.
This just turned the whole game around.
We no longer had that swagger. We no longer felt that we were the better team. I knew after that rule, we're not going to win this game.
I smell overtime.
Second down and 10, Patriots at the Oakland Raider 42-yard line. The Raiders lead 13-10. At this point, they've got about another 15 yards to go to get to within reasonable range. Brady awaiting the snap. It's there. Brady stands in the pocket, fires to the near side, caught by David Patton. He's across the 25. Down for a first down to the Oakland 22-yard line.
We're inching towards field goal territory at least.
The Patriots' drive stopped at the Raiders' 28-yard line. It would be 4th and 9. With 32 seconds remaining, Adam Vinatieri was the only option, and it was high risk.
I know that's a real low percentage kick. How many times would I make it if you gave me 100 shots? I don't know, 10 maybe.
Clock running down to 52 seconds remaining. Adam Vinatieri will attempt a 45-yard field goal to try to tie it.
If you miss it, you're done.
45-yard field goal attempt coming up. Snap, ball down, kick up on the way.
When it left my foot, I was 50-50 if it was going to have enough distance. I didn't know. As it kept going and going and going, and I'm praying and I'm praying.
It is good! 45 yards! Adam Vinatieri kicks it through the snow, and we're tied at 13 with 27 seconds left to play.
Looking back at it, it's probably the most difficult field goal I've ever had to attempt, to make, and probably the one that I'm the most proud of.
When he kicked that field goal, there was just, what's going on? You know, this is not the way it's supposed to happen.
This is one that they'll remember for a long time.
I was angry, I was confused, I was deflated, I was demoralized, I had felt betrayed.
There was never a doubt at that point that we were going to win that game.
Overtime in Foxborough. The Patriots would begin the extra period on offense. 4 critical plays dictated the outcome. The first was the second play of the drive.
Slots to both sides for Brady on second down. Direct snap to Brady. It's a screen to the right, complete to Redmond.
He's got blockers downfield, but the Raider, he broke through Johnny Harris's tackle, and he's out to midfield. Oh, the Raiders blew a tackle there. Johnny Harris had him. He ran right through it. Willie Thomas also missed the tackle, and J.R. Redmond winds up in the Raider territory following a 20-yard screen pass.
The second decisive play was 3rd and 5, and it featured tight end Jermaine Wiggins, who finished the game with 10 receptions.
Jermaine Wiggins! Did you read anything about this guy all week?
We just couldn't find that rhythm. We couldn't find that series of plays that kind of took them out of their rhythm.
But the Raiders' defense had another chance. They forced a 4th and 3, an opportunity to purge the demons exposed by the tuck rule.
4th down and 3 for the Patriots at the Oakland 27. Brady drops straight back to throw. Pump fakes, fires, caught, first down.
There were 2 receivers there, and David Patton just caught it out of the snow.
We're too far for a field goal. David went out and, as I recall, slipped on the play, and you know, he went down, but, you know, Tom still, you know, hit him, and he was able to get the first down. You know, that was the key play, was converting that 4th down and getting the ball into field goal range.
Patriots moving inexorably closer to the Raider goal line and a possible field goal attempt. All right, 3rd down and 5 at the Oakland 17. Edwards, the fullback, to give us to Antoine Smith to the right. Turns the corner. He's got a first down inside the 4. Antoine Smith, 1st and goal to go, Patriots.
Antoine Smith's 8-yard run on 3rd and 5 was the 4th and final play that sealed the outcome. It set up a 23-yard field goal attempt by Vinatieri, a relative chip shot compared with the difficulty of the kick at the end of regulation.
I mean, I figured if you made the other one, this one's done deal.
We called a timeout prior to me going out on the field, and all the big linemen with the size 14 shoes were helping me try to clear a patch of snow so I could get the best footing as I could. The whistle blows, the referee start the clock. Coach Gruden calls another timeout, which, hindsight looking back at it, I'd like to thank him for it. It gave us more opportunity to clear more snow and a bigger path and give me just a little bit better of a spot.
It is going to be a chippy field goal. It will be, 23 yards.
The crowd will tell you whether he makes it or not. Set to go. Snap, ball down. Kick is up. Patriots! Patriots win! Patriots win in overtime! 16-13! We're going to the AFC Championship game. How about that?
What a ending to what a game. I'll tell you what, one of the great games ever played here in New England.
And the sign at the end of Foxborough Stadium just said, revenge is best served cold. Maybe this is a little payback for 1976.
You got that right. I was thinking of that.
It's a sudden death for the Raiders season as they are beaten here on this dark, freezing night in Foxborough. One of the most difficult losses in Raider history.
I walked off the field into the locker room and said, I can't believe the NFL stole this game from us.
Do I think that there's some issues with the love of the Raiders? Do I think that maybe our beloved owner has maybe irritated a few people and they don't like him? Yes.
They left, feeling sorry for themselves, said whatever in the paper, tuck rule is BS.
The whole game was surreal, the whole day was surreal, and just the plays that were made were surreal.
The snow, it was so dramatic. It was, almost romantic. The way the snow was falling and the crowd and the underdog coming back from 10 points down in the third quarter to tie it up, and then to kick the winning field goal, and Lonnie doing the snow angels, and the fans. It almost brings a tear to my eye.
If you had told me early in the fourth quarter that this was going to be the final result, I would have said you were a dreamer. The Patriots win, and we're going to the AFC Championship game.
The Patriots' remarkable victory was the final game played in Foxborough Stadium. It simply added to the magical nature of the enchanted evening.
I can't imagine any place closing with a more memorable game. I really can't.
I will remember about Foxborough that something special was going on that last night at that stadium. It's poignant, it's powerful, it sums up why we cover sports, why we do what we do.
There was an added element to the Patriots' improbable win, one that had its roots in a playoff game 25 years earlier. New England's sports nation has a long memory.
What goes around comes around. It happened to us in 1976 in Oakland. It happened to the Oakland Raiders in 2001 in Foxborough. We're even.
Payback is done. Via the tuck rule, the payback is complete.
For many, the tuck rule was the end of the road, but it was really just the beginning of the ride. Revisionist history marks the Raiders' win as the tipping point. Forgotten in this unfinished worldview was the AFC Championship game. Prohibitive underdogs, the Patriots overcame even more than the odds in defeating the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Oh, boy.
Lo and behold, who comes in? Number 11. He did the same thing that Tom did in an adverse situation.
Bledsoe comes in for the injured Tom Brady. What a story this is. And we're heading to New Orleans as the American Football Conference champions.
Tom Brady's return was not the headline in Super Bowl 36. The front page, bold type, belonged to the opponent, the St. Louis Rams, the greatest show on turf, a dynasty awaiting coronation.
Dynasty is born, baby.
The Rams had beaten New England in the 2001 regular season. It had been the Patriots' last defeat. 8 consecutive victories had followed.
In cuts, that's the game! Slants and in cuts, that's the game!
In the regular season game, we blitzed them, I think it was 43 times, and really didn't get very much pressure on Warner at all. They only scored 24 points, but I never really felt like we had control of the game at all.
In Super Bowl 36, Marshall Faulk was the focus of Belichick's game plan. The unconventional concept produced a close, competitive game. Ironically, a blitz resulted in the biggest play.
Back to throw, and here's the blitz by Mike Vrabel. The pass is intercepted.
The game was decided on the final possession by a second-year quarterback in only his 17th NFL start.
It's 17-17. Well, my first thing is I go up to Charlie and I say, "What are we doing?" And he says, "We're going." He says, "Hey, take care of that ball." And Drew was kind of standing next to me, and he kind of just shuffled in front of that, and he says, "That. Go out there and sling it."
Brady covered 53 yards with 5 completions in less than a minute.
It happens so quick. I mean, by the time you spike that ball, you're thinking, this is for the world championship.
2 weeks removed from his miraculous kick in the snow, Adam Vinatieri again was the man of the moment.
I really thought I'd be more nervous than I was, but at that point I went out there and I said, you're not expected to do anything that you haven't done in the past, that you can't do. It's a 48-yard field goal.
It's money. You know, it's money. That's all I kept saying to myself, it's money.
From there, it just all slowed down. It was just slow-mo, you know. It was just the snap, the hold, the kick, the ball leaving my foot. And at that point, when I kicked it, I knew it was good. It's better than your dream. For a career, you know, it's like the birth of your child.
Man, I mean, if you could ever bottle that feeling, I mean, it was so surreal. It was just the completely unexpected.
It's what we play the game for, man. It's the build-up. It's the dramatic moment. It's the winners from the losers, everything.
2 more championships followed in 2003 and 2004. The stunning upstarts of 2001 had now become an NFL dynasty.
To do what we did, how we did it, in the fashion we did it, we got there 3 out of 4 and we won. Absolutely. You got to put us right up there with everybody else.
If you ask me, the best team ever to play in this league has been the New England Patriots. And with being the best, they use the word dynasty.
Almost 1 month to the day after the Raiders lost to the Patriots in the AFC Divisional playoffs, John Gruden was named the head coach of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Quite simply, I'm thrilled to be here, and all I can guarantee is a lot of hard work and effort in trying to put the Tampa Bay Buccaneers into championship form. Thank you very much.
I think we were all surprised. I know I was a little saddened because I love the guy.
Yeah, I would say that was a surprise. Yeah, absolutely.
I guess I was shocked, but more than that, I was devastated.
For the NFL's youngest head coach, 2002 was a season for the ages. Gruden pushed the Bucs to an NFL best 12-4 record, demanding that a good defense become a great defense. The complement was an efficient offense that peaked in the playoffs. While the Bucs responded to Gruden's challenge, his former assistant Bill Callahan stayed the course in Oakland. The Raiders, led by NFL MVP Rich Gannon, won their 3rd consecutive AFC West title, then charged through the playoffs with 2 convincing wins. In Super Bowl 37, they faced their former coach. History has recorded Gruden's familiarity with Gannon and the Raiders' offense as the critical factor in Tampa's decisive victory.
Because Gruden was so familiar with our philosophy, our offense, and Rich Gannon, he knew based on formations and prepared his coaches and Monty Kiffin and those guys for our checks. And so whenever Rich came up and saw a certain look and gave his audible, you heard 3 guys, the 3 main guys, Warren Sapp, Derek Brooks, John Lynch, all from Tampa Bay defense, yell out what we were doing.
Hey, sluggo seam, Sluggo seam.
They knew it. We had 13 mental errors in the first 17 plays offensively. And, you go back and watch the tape, and guys are lining up in the wrong spot. Guys are unsure of what we're doing, and there's really no explanation for it.
Super Bowl 37 marked the end of the Raiders' run. For Gannon, 2 injury-plagued seasons followed, ending his career. In the next 7 years, the Raiders went through 4 different head coaches. It's a franchise chasing its past, a past still haunted by a playoff loss in snowy Foxborough, Massachusetts.
It's like digging up an old scab, man. It still hurts. It stinks. It always hurts. Just like leave it alone. Like let it be.
I wish that the New England game would have been more our fault than that rule, because it's notorious. Whenever you look at that game, you always hear about the tuck rule.
We were a good football team. We were a very good football team. We felt like we were on the verge of doing something special, and then to have that happen, it set us back.
That one time, that one instant, created a dynasty.
For all practical purposes, there would not be a dynasty had the tuck rule not happened.
I think that was a great break that gave the Patriots second life that night, and thanks to Adam Vinatieri's clutch kicking, really launched their postseason dominance. That was win number 1.
We didn't know for sure at the time it was going to be the first stepping stone toward winning an almost unimaginable championship.
I don't think many people would remember it if we didn't go on and win the next 2 games.
The last game at the stadium, 9/11 rings out, because to be a Patriot, to get to that point and then to get to the Super Bowl and win it was phenomenal. Just to be in the same breath, patriotism, patriot, it all just went together so beautifully.
It doesn't get any better, man. Never forget this.
It was just an unbelievable end to an unbelievable season.